Our third question is coming from Unit 5. And on this question, what I want us to focus on is in this part A, how they're talking about justifying our answer. This is a task verb that they use really often on the AP Calculus exam. And it's super important to know exactly what they mean by justification and what actually counts as a justification. So specifically on this question, they're asking us what intervals the graph of f is concave downward. And on these types of questions, they'll often give us the function or the graph of something that is not f, so something like the derivative or the second derivative in this case, and we have to be able to interpret that. So the first thing that we're going to think about is what makes f concave down, and that's going to be that our second derivative that they gave us the equation for is going to be less than 0 or negative. And this is a great way to use your calculator, is to go ahead and graph this function. So that's what this graph represents here. And we're going to make sure that we're looking in the right range here. So from -1 to 3.2, we're really just going to look from those 2 points because that's what they've specified for us. And when we are talking about actually justifying our answer, we can use our calculators to verify and confirm where this is negative, but we can't necessarily use that as our justification on all questions. We're going to have to prove in some way that we know why that proves that f is concave downward. So what we're going to look at here is setting that function sine of 2 to the power of x equal to 0. And we can use our calculators to solve for those values of x. So we can pull that is 1.651. And then our second value of x is 2.651. And once we have those two values, we can see from our graph that it's between those two values that it becomes negative, but we can't say that as our justification that like, oh, I just looked at the graph on my calculator. We're going to have to show that it actually was negative. And the best way for them to see that visually is with a nice little number line. We can throw our two values of x where we found that they were 0, and we can show that it was positive before, negative in the middle, and positive after. And this allows us to actually show what our answer is. And then last thing, especially on these free response questions, we want to clearly state what our answer is. So especially on these questions, really making it clear that our answer is 1.651 is less than x, which is less than 2.651. That's going to be our final answer.